Hello, thank you for checking out this review of mood crystals on Deck Obsessed. This is Rhonda, and I'll be showing you all 50 cards so you can get a feel for whether this deck is for you. And if it is, you'll find a link in the description box to get yourself a copy. Let's get started. This deck and guide booklet were co written by Crystal Alvarez and Narissa Alberts. There are 50 cards in the deck. They come in this nice, sturdy box. Cards are a little bit narrow. Cards are pretty thick with matte finishing. There's information on both the front of the cards and the back of the cards, which is why you don't see a larger guidebook. And for some people, having the information right on the cards is great. The deck comes with a very brief but well written guide booklet, since you don't really need the standard guidebook again because of all the details on the cards. So the deck is organized in 4 color-coded categories, which are labeled at the top of each card. And these categories include the color green for emotional cards. And the emotions are worthy, lonely, and other kinds of emotions like that. The violet color, and the colors are somewhat, they're not super thick, but you can't really see them this way, but when you turn the deck upside down, you can see the colors on the side. So the green color again is for physical emotion cards like worthy and alone, loneliness. The violet color cards are coded for energetic and transformational flow, like sensual or irritated. The yellow color coded cards are for intuitive emotions like compassion and disappointment. And the blue color coded cards are for mental clarity cards like liberated or anxious, as we see here. So let's have a look at each card so you can get a sense for whether this deck is for you. So on each card, you have a pretty close up photo of the crystal. At the top is a color coded category name, in this case, physical emotions. And then beneath that, there's a paragraph that delves into that emotion. And then near the photo of the crystal is the name of the crystal in very, very small type. So I'm going to put up close. It's pretty small. And the small type, it might be a little difficult for some to read, but it does help the crystal to shine a little bit on these cards that already have a lot of information. So on the back of each crystal, you're going to have the same headings on each crystal. There is a list of 4 different crystals that can help you cultivate, release, or heal the emotion in question, starting with the crystal shown on front of the card. So this card is pyrite, and the first crystal listed at the top is pyrite, but then there's also galena, copper, green tourmaline are listed. And then there's a brief description of the crystal. And then beneath that are 3 additional crystals that you might try, like black tourmaline, hematite, and sesfertine garnet. And then lastly, at the bottom, there are several powerful stone combinations if you're interested in stones that work well together. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And I'll read the full length details on a few of the cards and show some examples so that you can see the quality of information, the specificity of the information that the authors include on the cards. But I can't, we can't read all of them, but I'll read some. Okay. So, physical emotions, trusting. Trust is a cornerstone of human connection and relationships, and our initial understanding of it comes from an instinctual infinite place of knowing. When the trust is established, it becomes the internal compass to navigate through important moments or decisions. Cultivating trust within ourselves helps us discern what our instincts and intuition are telling us. So pyrite, and like I noted before, there's a list of the main crystal on the back and how it helps us with that. So on the front, they're talking specifically about trust, but then on the back, we get the connection between the crystal and that emotion. So pyrite acts like a building block of trust. Its grounding ability offers a foundation to practice self-reliance, creating a safe container and feeding your confidence. And then for each of the other three crystals, similar listed with which have the similar energy, they list something about how that stone helps. And I really think it's great that the backs have information about other crystals and then show combinations of stones. Like you can combine pyrite with galena and copper, two of the other ones on here, and then combine green tourmaline and black tourmaline, which is listed here. So that's the first card. I'm not going to go that in depth with every card so we can get through the deck in a timely manner. The first one is trusting in this physical emotions category. Then we have strong. And again, the front is going to talk about strength, whereas you get the information about the crystal on the back. So this is emerald. And emerald calls all fragmented pieces back to wholeness. It teaches resilience, encouraging you to get back on the horse and try again, staying adaptable and strong. And other crystals listed here are diamond, sapphire, and obsidian. So here's again what the crystal looks like. The pictures in this deck are quite beautiful. Worthy. I'm not going to read all of the emotions, but I'm going to read as many of the crystal descriptions as possible. Blue-green tourmaline is what crystal this is, and the description on the back. Accelerated to the heart, this stone expands self-worth and teaches self-love and devotion. It redirects away from a low mood and centers you with patience and unconditional love. Rose quartz, calm. Carnelian, playful. Optimistic. Sunstone, optimistic. I love how they have such a close-up picture of the stone so you can see a lot of the details. Sunstone. Accepting, amethyst. Bored. Looking at this crystal, I do not see the name of it right here. I think they forgot to include the name of the crystal on this one. I know the type is tiny, but I think it's so tiny it's invisible. So we have to look on the back. And you know what? I found a mistake because this says orange calcite is the top one. I don't know if there's another edition of this. This might be, I don't know which crystal this is. It's not orange calcite, that's for sure. So, maybe that's what the problem is. But this is bored, and I don't know if that's fulgurite. No, that's not that. That's a sandy looking stone. It doesn't look like fluorite either. So we're going to skip that one, but that is a flaw in this deck, unfortunately. That is otherwise pretty great. The name's not on here. It's the wrong crystal. So moving on, the physical emotion is worn out, and the element here is gold. And gold is actually written on here, and on the back it says citrine. So this doesn't look like citrine, but gold is the fourth crystal listed on here. So gold being a metal, it's pictured here. And I guess they give an example. So, I wonder, is this actually a mistake or is this one of the crystals? This doesn't look like fluorite. Maybe it's one of these others. Iceland spot. I don't know which crystal this is. A mystery. Maybe another edition will correct that. I'm not sure if there's another edition available, but we'll look it up. So, gold gives you the energy to persevere and act as a pick-me-up, ushering in renewed strength and vitality. It is an amplifying yet grounding vibration, bringing in brightness. And other crystals listed here. Citrine is the first crystal listed, but again, it's not the one that's on the front, so maybe that's not a consistent thing with the deck. But citrine, ruby, gold, and phenacite are the crystals listed here for when you're feeling worn out, etc. Fearful, we have seraphinite, and it is also the third crystal listed on here. So maybe it's the crystal on the front isn't always the first one listed, but in this case, in the last card, it's the third one. Seraphonite, its protective energy helps navigate uncharted emotional territory. It has an enchanting effect on areas of constriction as it radiates a deeper sense of love and support. Other crystals listed: danburite, fluorite, and green calcite. So the emotion of lonely, we have the epidote crystal. That's a beautiful image of that stone. And on the back, we find that it's the fourth. It's listed. Fourth, epidote offers the potential to reconnect with life through nature, where you are never truly alone. This stone acts like a poultice, extracting out the unhappy areas of your life and helping you to understand the root of your loneliness. Pained, hematite. Lazy, malachite. Distracted, smoky quartz. And now we're moving into a new category. And this one, I love how the categories are right there on the cards. It's sort of like the cards are themselves, cards serving two purposes. They're cards and the guidebook. So we have energetic and transformational flow. And this crystal emotion is proud. And again, I don't see a name of the crystal, but this does look like citrine, and citrine is the first crystal listed. Citrine, fearlessness within, will rise up to live in your true potential, invoking passion and creativity. Citrine teaches manifestation and stimulates the feelings of satisfaction and gratification. The confident, this is ruby. Ruby clears away energetic debris which impede forward momentum. Its vital energy brings a powerful fertilizer that encourages you to carry yourself with conviction and confidence. Passionate, tangerine quartz. Sensual, rhodochrosite. Now this must be some, I don't know, I've never seen rhodochrosite that looks like this. It's usually a very light pink, and so it could just be, let me see. Looks more like fire opal. I don't know everything, so if that's rhodochrosite, then that's new to me. But the rhodochrosite message is stimulates a willingness to embrace your sensual nature. It teaches body positivity, self-love, and adoration for your sacred vessel. It centers the heart and mind to allow you to relax. The other crystals here: orange kyanite, fire opal, shivalingam. And again, sensual. And again, in this energetic and transformational flow category, we have thrilled and moldavite. And moldavite is here at the bottom. Moldavite dismantles conventional rules and opens up a world of infinite possibilities. This stone teaches you to go way beyond the proverbial radar screen and shows you the infinite potential you have access to. And if you've heard anything about moldavite, it can be thrilling, but it can also kind of knock people's socks off. It's like you're going on a spiritual journey with this. It's not even a stone, but it's treated as stone. It's categorized with crystals. But yes, and again, you're not going to learn about the crystals from this deck. So if you already know something or use it in combination, that's the best way to use this deck. But this deck is focused on emotions, not so much like healing or spiritual journeying or anything like that. And I always think of moldavite when it comes to people having spiritual awakenings or deepening their spiritual growth. So here we have courageous, and we have a piece of copper metal there. Copper purifies your emotional self. It asks you to abandon preconceived ideas that hold you back and gives you courage to trust that the universe is steering you in the right direction. Angry, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline transmutes animosity and stabilizes unsettled feelings so you can look at them objectively, helping you to connect with the Earth's natural frequency to bring rebirth. Irritated, Larimar. Larimar is a pretty expensive crystal. That's why I don't have any. But we don't need to talk about that. Larimar sets in motion the feelings of patience and peace. It acts as a bridge to shift from being irritated to feeling calm, providing the cleansing power of a tranquil sea. Needy, blue apatite. Blue apatite's energy is like a trusted friend or confidant. When you resonate with this stone, it lends support, helps you discern what's behind neediness, and proactively get your needs met. Possessive, tiger's eye. I'm wondering on some of these crystals, is the type just so small that I can't see? Because I almost didn't even see where it says tiger's eye. And again, it serves the purpose of allowing the stone to be the star at the bottom of the page and not distracting too much. But sometimes you might miss the title altogether. Tiger's Eye centers the emotional body into equilibrium, so you have the power to connect with inner truth. It helps compose thoughts around emotions that carry a strong attachment. So I'm just going to move through more of these cards without reading all the back. This is Dogtooth Calcite in the frustrated emotion. Resentful, green tourmaline. Kunzite, loving. Hemimorphite, empathetic. Beautiful picture. Dioptase, at peace. And again, I got to get my microscope because I don't see the name of this crystal. But joyful is the energy. It looks like some amethyst there. I'm not sure. Is it the it might be the chrysanthemum stone. Well, chrysanthemum stones are black. So anyway, could be lepidolite. It looks the most like lepidolite, so I'm going to read that one. When feeling blocked from happiness, lepidolite whispers, keep going. The payoff is huge. It encourages you to keep moving forward even when you are encouraging or encountering resistance. So joyful, might be a nice gem quality lepidolite, but I'm not sure. Blissful, moonstone. A mystical and powerful crystal that drives you deeper down the spiral of life learning. It teaches the duality between light and dark and aids in understanding how polarities provide a wholesome life experience. This stone keeps you on the path of personal growth and reinvention. Now, that description feels a lot less about emotion and more about the overall property or the metaphysical property of the crystal, how it can help you metaphysically. It feels like it's going beyond emotions, but blissful, you can feel blissful from being on the right path of reinvention. So yes. Okay, now this is rhodochrosite. So there was another crystal card that had the very gemmy looking picture, and it said rhodochrosite, but this is actual rhodochrosite, and it's the compassionate card, and we are in the intuitive emotions. All these yellow cards I've been showing, they are in the intuitive emotions category. Rhodochrosite explores areas lacking in compassion and gives you courage for action and forgiveness. It heeds you to come back to love and acceptance of the self and others. Imperial Topaz, disappointed. Galena, hopeless. Aquamarine, mournful. Stibnite, shameful. Wolfenite, discouraged. Wolfenite shields you from outside influences that affect your confidence. When you're feeling down or out, this stone will lend the self-assurance you need to take action and climb the ladder again. Amber, sorrowful. Amber traps unwanted feelings in its resin, making a space for clarity and truth. It can dispel depression and help you return to being with others and finding a sense of purpose. Enlightened, spirit quartz. And again, we're in the mental clarity section now. Spirit quartz is a stone of refuge that opens you to receptivity and growth. Understand the power of the present moment and connect to the vast networks of consciousness beyond the self. Again, a lot of those really do get a little deeper into the properties of crystals than I thought. Like, they connect with emotions, but they're not purely talking just about the emotions in some cases. So mental clarity, again, is our category. We're looking at the inspired card, and this is Picture Jasper. And that's the third one on the back. Picture Jasper is an entryway to inspiration. It tells a vivid story within its unique visual landscape and is wonderful for visualization. It evokes imagination and creativity to flow down through the lower energy centers, propelling you to stay self-motivated. So we have vanadinite, which is in the liberated, which is a liberated emotion. Vanadite Vanadinite ignites areas of truth that are not yet open for you. It offers salvation to move through difficult emotional blocks or repressed memories into liberty and independence. And this emotion here in the mental clarity category is intellectual, and the crystal is azurite. We have the spiritual card, and the stone is amethyst. We have stibnite in the attracted emotion of feeling attracted in the mental clarity category. And then with insecure as the emotion, we have carnelian, watermelon tourmaline with the emotion of guilt. Watermelon tourmaline allows you a portal to climb through and the courage to discover that what lies above and beneath the surface. It generates warmth and invites support for making amends. So for the emotion of confusion, we have danburite. When working in meditation, danburite gives you access to guidance navigating you through the fog of confusion. It is a great tuner, helping you to clearly hear the wisdom of your intuition. Bloodstone, nervous. Bloodstone works with nervous energy to process emotional toxins. It heals the mothering or caretaker wound of losing your identity. Bloodstone's energy helps combat nervousness, filling empty space by reclaiming power, purpose, and independence, facilitating change. The overwhelmed emotion, we have the zoisite. Zoisite helps you prioritize and lends a sense of clarity. Ruby inclusions often further amplify its effects by supplying the emotional energy needed to handle multiple situations or tasks. Black kyanite works with the energy of anxiousness. Black kyanite clears the emotional, physical, and mental body to become free of constraints. When you feel like a hostage in the mind, it will cut the cord that is keeping you imprisoned. Okay, so if you like that deck, the mood crystals, follow the link in the description box to get yourself a copy. We are going to take a quick look at the little guide booklet. It's so short, there aren't even page numbers, but don't let that fool you. There's some helpful information here. So there's an introduction on how to use the deck. There's information about the categories and identifying your emotions, which includes physical, mental reflection questions to help you assess what you're feeling. There are sections on the power of crystals, which is about self-care and healing. And lastly, working with the crystals, which discusses topics like meditation and dream work. So it's a short and sweet book, but it gets to the point and provides some interesting information. And again, in the back, you have some journaling exercises and sound and stone practice, which is like a meditation process. So there we have it. That is my review of the Mood Crystals deck. I know there are looks like some hiccups in there, a few mistakes. I don't know if they have a new edition of the deck. This is a somewhat new book. I think it came out in 2023. Hopefully they'll correct those things. I don't know if that is a deal breaker for you. I think I can still get a lot out of this deck because at least the information about the crystals seems to be quite accurate. And I think this deck is quite unique in that it focuses on emotions. It's organized by emotions. So if that's something that you're dealing with in an area of focus, this might be a good deck. But it's not the kind of deck you get when you want to study crystals. If you want to learn about the properties, this deck is focused on emotions because crystals have purposes that go beyond our emotional life. A lot of things can be tied to emotions, but if you want to look at spiritual growth or things like that, or physical issues, physical ailments and healing and other properties of crystals, this deck doesn't go so deep into those. But if you want to have multiple decks, this is a nice one to add to a collection of crystal decks because it focuses purely on emotions, which makes it unique. And I do like the fact that each card discusses more than one crystal. I like the fact that the information is right on the cards. That's one of the advantages, because the card in itself is this single resource. You don't have to go looking up things in a guidebook. So those are some of the advantages of the deck that I do. And I don't know if I missed something, but maybe my eyes aren't that good and I couldn't see some of the words and labels on the cards. I could have been mistaken, but I'm not entirely sure that every card is accurate. I do think I found some things that need to be edited, but that is it. That's my review of Mood Crystals. I still like the deck despite some of those shortcomings for its focus on emotions, but it's up to you whether or not the deck resonates with you, or whether it meets your needs. So if you do like it and it meets the needs that you're looking for, if it resonates with you, go ahead, follow the link in the description box to buy a copy, or to look at the other crystal card decks that I've listed there. And just another note, I'm going to be adding a lot of other crystal decks in the near future, as well as a comparison video that has multiple different types of decks. So if you like this review, please do share it with fellow crystal lovers, leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons, and check out my other videos. Thank you so much for watching Deck Obsessed. Have a beautiful day. See you next time.